A decorated Marine, 20 years of service, missed birthdays, holidays in war zones, scars most people will never see, and on the proudest day of his son's life, 2 guards told him he didn't belong. But what they didn't know was that his son's 4 best friends were watching, and they weren't going to let this happen. Not today. Sergeant Marcus Carter had given everything to his country. 2 decades, thousands of sunrises on foreign soil, the weight of responsibility that never truly leaves your shoulders. But none of that mattered this morning. Today was different. Today was about Jason. Marcus arrived at the Naval Base Ceremony grounds early, uniform crisp, medals polished, heart absolutely overflowing with pride. His son, his baby boy, was becoming a Navy officer. After years of Marcus's sacrifice, Jason was finally walking in his father's footsteps. Marcus took his seat quietly in the 3rd row. He didn't need to be in the front. He just needed to be there. He'd endured the sideways glances before. He knew how some people reacted to a black man in dress blues. He was used to it. Part of the uniform, as much as the ribbons on his chest, but he wasn't prepared for what came next. The ceremony hadn't even started when they appeared. 2 guards, uniformed, official. Their faces showed no emotion as they approached him directly. "Sir, you need to leave now." The words hit like a physical blow. The air seemed to leave the room. Heads turned. Whispers started immediately. "Excuse me?" Marcus's voice was steady, but his jaw clenched. "I'm here for my son's graduation. We have reports that you're not on the approved guest list. Security protocol. You'll need to leave the premises immediately." Marcus stood slowly. His shoulders filled the space. Every eye in that section was now locked on him. He saw the confusion on people's faces. A decorated Marine being escorted out? His son, standing near the stage in his Navy dress whites, face going pale. "I'm not leaving," Marcus said, his voice low but absolute. "I'm not leaving my son's graduation." The first guard stepped closer. His hand moved toward Marcus's arm. "Sir, don't make this difficult." That's when Marcus's voice turned to steel. "Touch me and you'll regret it." A gasp rippled through the crowd. The guard froze. An uncomfortable silence fell over the ceremony grounds. People shifted in their seats. This was about to become something no one expected. Then, from the back row, a single voice cut through the tension. Calm, measured, but carrying the absolute weight of authority. "You might want to step back." 4 men stood up simultaneously, in perfect synchronization. They wore Navy dress uniforms, and they moved with the kind of precision that only comes from elite military training. Navy SEALs, and they were Jason's training officers. The guards hesitated. One reached for his radio. The tallest SEAL, call sign Reaper, stepped forward, his voice never raising but somehow commanding the entire space. "Sergeant Carter has more combat hours than this entire room combined. More decorations, more scars, more sacrifice. You really want to do this? Right now? In front of everyone?" The guards exchanged nervous glances. One whispered into his radio, "We may need backup." The 4 SEALs didn't even blink. They simply stood there, shoulder to shoulder, forming an unmovable wall of solidarity. These weren't just men supporting a colleague. This was a brotherhood. This was family. The crowd held its breath. Then Jason stepped forward. His voice shook slightly, but his eyes blazed with something fierce. "He's my father." 3 words. That's all it took. The crowd stirred. Whispers turned into murmurs. People were starting to understand. This wasn't a security issue. This was something else entirely. That's when the base commander appeared, striding down the center aisle. His face was dark. His jaw was set. He'd been watching the entire thing unfold. And he was furious, but not at Marcus. "Stand down," he commanded the guards, his voice cutting like a knife. The guards immediately stepped back, suddenly looking very small. The commander walked directly to Marcus. For a moment, they locked eyes. Then the commander extended his hand. "Sergeant Carter, my sincerest apologies. This graduation won't start without you, not with a man of your service and sacrifice. You earned that seat 1,000 times over." The crowd erupted. Some stood. Some applauded. But Marcus didn't take the commander's hand. Not yet. He looked at his son. Really looked at him. And in Jason's eyes, Marcus saw something that broke and healed him at the same time. Pride, hurt, and the weight of understanding what had just happened. This wasn't about a guest list. This was about something deeper. Something his son would remember forever. Then Jason did something that silenced the entire room. He stepped toward his father and raised his hand. A salute, not casual. Military perfect. Respect. Honor. Loyalty. Everything the uniform stood for, directed at the man who taught him what those words meant. Marcus's breath caught. His eyes welled up. For the first time in 20 years of service, he felt seen, not as a soldier, as a father. The 4 SEALs saluted as well. Slowly, deliberately, then the commander, then the entire crowd. When the ceremony began, Marcus sat front and center. The guards were nowhere to be found. And as Jason stepped forward to receive his diploma, something incredible happened. The 4 SEALs stood in perfect formation, not with weapons, not with aggression, but with solidarity, with the kind of respect that you can't buy or demand. You can only earn it. Because that's what this story was really about. Not a confrontation between a Marine and security guards. Not a public apology or a moment of vindication. It was about something far more powerful. It was about a son telling the world, "This man is my hero." It was about brothers in arms saying, "We stand with him." It was about understanding that some battles aren't fought with bullets or weapons. Some battles are fought with loyalty, with presence, with the simple act of standing beside someone when it matters most. Because when you wear the uniform, you don't just serve your country. You become part of a family, and no one, absolutely no one, messes with family. Not on their watch. As Marcus watched his son receive his commission, he understood something he'd almost forgotten. The sacrifices he made weren't just for a country. They were for moments like this. For a son who inherited his strength. For a legacy of service and honor. For a brotherhood that would stand beside him on the hardest days. The 2 guards had made a critical mistake. They saw a man in uniform. They didn't see the sacrifice. They didn't see the father. They didn't see the hero, but Jason did. The SEALs did. And by the end of that ceremony, everyone else did too. Because respect isn't given. It's earned in blood, in sacrifice, in showing up every single day, even when no one's watching, and Sergeant Marcus Carter had earned the respect of everyone in that room. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories about real heroes, real families, and the unbreakable bonds formed through sacrifice and honor. Share this with someone who needs to understand what it really means to stand for something. Because that's what heroes do.